This was supposed to be a beautiful week. For the first 2 days, the weather was perfect. Sunny, 70 degrees. You didn't need a coat, but maybe you did need your sunglasses. So many great things were happening in my family as the school year was drawing to a close. And the same with my friends. It was all good. And then Tuesday afternoon, the news came out about Uvalde, Texas. Everything changed in an instant. 19 fourth graders, 2 teachers killed in their classrooms. The place we send our sweet children for safekeeping, for learning, for discovery, for friendship. The place where they are nurtured and supported in order to grow up and to become make-us-crazy teenagers and then miraculously turn into loving adults. It was just 2 days before the school year ended when they were having classroom parties and handing out honor roll certificates. It was a time of celebration there as it was here with all of our families. But now no one is celebrating when children are murdered in their school. Or go back 2 weeks when shoppers are murdered in the market and worshipers in their churches. According to the news, there have been over a dozen mass shootings in the United States in the past 14 days. Over 40 dead. It's impossible to imagine a dozen mass shootings, 40 people in 2 weeks. And when I heard about Uvalde, all I could do was cry in despair. When will it end? How much louder can we yell? Wherever one lands on the political spectrum about guns, everyone knows that this isn't okay. I immersed myself in the news. I wanted to turn off the television, but I wouldn't let myself. I forced myself to watch. I wanted to hear about the children, those precious souls. Amory Jo, an excellent student, daughter, friend. She was playful and silly, and most of all, loved to make people laugh. I saw a video of her on a fishing trip with her dad, casting the line, and a smile from ear to ear. Xavier, excited to spend his summer swimming. He had a bubbly personality, loved life and dancing with his brothers. He made the honor roll and had just been presented with a certificate hours earlier. Ellie, her dad described her on the Today Show as the sweetest girl you've ever had the chance to meet. Next week was supposed to be her 10th birthday, complete with a pool party. She loved basketball and TikTok. She wanted to be a cheerleader. She'd already picked out her quinceañera dress, even though she was only 10 years old. She was also prepared to read a Bible verse in church this Sunday from Deuteronomy 6:18. Do what is right and good in the sight of God, that it may go well with you. While this passage does not come from our Torah portion this week, it might as well be a duplicate of our portion Bechukotai, which begins, if you follow my laws and faithfully observe my commandments, then, and what follows is a listing of blessings. Rains will come in their time. There will be an abundance of fruit, grapes for wine, wheat for bread. There will be peace. You shall be mighty and strong, and God says, I will be present in your midst, and you shall be my people. The blessings in the portion are beautiful with visions of abundance and prosperity. And the message I take from this type of language is live a good life and all will be okay. Ellie's portion from Deuteronomy really says it best. Do what is right and good in the sight of God, that it may go well with you. And while perhaps not entirely realistic, I nevertheless find it comforting. If we were to adapt these blessings to a modern age, they might sounds something like this. Tuck your little ones safely into bed, and they will dream of butterflies and unicorns. Give them hugs and kisses, and they will know that they are loved. Send them off to school in the morning, and they will return safe and secure that afternoon. I guess inside of our reality, these blessings aren't terribly convincing either, and I wish that I found them comforting. Temple communities all around the world are gathering tonight for words of wisdom. I don't have them for you. The day after, the local newspaper in Uvalde didn't have the words either. The front page was just black, with the date at the top in white. There is a homiletical practice in our Jewish tradition called the nechemta, words of comfort after a particularly difficult textual passage where the prophets, for example, are yelling and screaming at the top of their lungs for us to change our ways. Or the weeks after Tisha B'Av, where the prophets offer words of consolation after the temple's destruction. Tradition, you see, doesn't want us to leave on such a tragic or upsetting note. Hence the nechemta, words to soothe us, words to settle us, words to comfort us. The blessings in the Torah portion didn't quite do it for me, as beautiful as they are. But I did find the nechemta in our text. It was actually in this week's Haftorah portion that comes from the book of Jeremiah, who tells us, Zachor b'nechem, remember their children. Really, I'm not making this up. It's true. The phrase is there in chapter 17, verse 2. I always say that the Torah is relevant to our lives, but has it ever been quite so relevant? Remember their children? Please, please remember their children. Tonight we remember all the children from Robb Elementary. We remember Amory Joe, Xavier, and Ellie, and the other 18 who were lost on Tuesday. We remember their sweet faces and their kind souls and their big dreams. We remember their silly giggles and their happy dances and their fishing poles. We remember their straight A's and their honor roll certificates. We remember their TikTok videos and their quinceañera plans. And we also remember that their lives were cut short far too soon in an act of violence, hate, malevolence, and pure evil. There is no nechemta, no comfort in that. And so, as we sit in our pain and our despair over this atrocity, I need you to know that even though this sermon tonight is not a call to action, I need you to act. There are so many things to do, and the first among them is to vote. And even though this sermon is filled with anguish rather than anger, I need you to be angry too. And even though this sermon tonight is not a Torah study, our text has something powerful to say, and we have a responsibility to learn it and apply it to our own lives. And even though this sermon is not a part of a memorial service, we are obligated, Zachor b'nechem, to remember their children and everyone who has been killed not just this week or even last, but in every school shooting and every mass shooting incident. Do you know that guns are the leading cause of death in America among children and teens? What I hope this sermon does do is serve as sacred time for us to be together in our pain, in our despair, and yes, also in our anger. That it lets us commiserate with each other and offer solace to one another. That's really the only nechemta, the only comfort that I have that I can offer you tonight. That, and a reminder to hug our children and our loved ones just a little bit tighter. And say, I love you a few extra times. And when we get up from this pain, that we transform it into a commitment to ensure that our country isn't known for how many children have been subjected to gun violence, but a place where parents can send their children off in the morning and know that they will come home again that night. That we will be known as a nation where we can live without fear of guns, and a place that is safe and sound for all people. That is my wish, and that is my prayer, as hopefully we will enter into a Shabbat of peace together. Shabbat Shalom.